Hi everyone, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my Viseart Petit Pro 1 palette, and this is actually one of 3 palettes that I hauled from Sephora Philippines. So I'm actually going to be doing one video for each of those Petit Pro palettes. The reason why I'm doing this is because if I create one video for all 3 palettes, that's going to be quite hectic, and it's also going to be too long in my opinion. So at least having one video per palette can help us, especially me, get to know the Viseart brand, because after all, Viseart is new to me, so I really don't know how to handle their products properly. Now, this is the first time that I'm actually using their eyeshadows. Now, I do have to say I've already opened one and swatched them in my hand before, but I re-stopped myself because I wanted to give my very honest opinion about it, especially when you're doing it for the first time. So that's also one thing, that when you are getting to know one brand and their products, there's a slight learning curve that we have to undergo, and that's one thing that I'm so excited about, because that's part of the learning process and how you can adapt your skills with the products that you have at your disposal. So the Petit Pro 1 comes in a cardboard packaging like this, and you can see the colors here. So this is what you'll expect when you open the palette itself. And at the back, there are names, so we'll be swatching this one by one and we'll get to know their names as well. And then also here you have a sticker of the ingredients, and it says here that this particular palette was made in France, and this has a 24-month use by date after opening. Now, what really intrigued me in getting the Petit Pro palettes is because it's been a while that I've seen like the actual regular sizes of the Viseart like palettes, and I only have a visual memory of them, so I really can't remember how big they are. But when I got this from the delivery packaging, I was quite surprised on how small it actually was. But then again, when I looked here at the back, it says that it had 8 grams of products, so that's like around 1 gram of product for each color. So that's not bad, because like with the price, I bought this for 1,950 pesos, which is actually not bad, because like example, a Laura Mercier single eyeshadow will cost me around 1,350 pesos for around like less than 3 grams of product. So it's actually quite a good value for your money. So the Viseart Petit Pro palette comes in like a packaging like this, and I think this is made of cardboard or paper, and there's this like small ribbon here that when you open it, you can see the Viseart name here, and there's also a mirror here. So let's flip that over, and of course they always come with like a protective plastic packaging. And as you can see here, this is the color that we can find on the Viseart Petit Pro palette. So everything that you see at the top row here is matte, and everything here at the bottom row is shimmer eyeshadows. So that's a very interesting mix. And as you can see, you know, you can actually play around with the different color stories here and create different looks with this palette alone. So let's watch these colors one by one and let's get to know them. So let's start with the matte eyeshadows first, and the first color that we have here is this bony white color, and this is called Vellum. Let's watch it here. And as you can see, it's not as brightening as it appears to be. It's not white, it's not cream even, but I think this is a very, very, very light gray. So we have to be very careful with this, because if we use this wrongly, this can be dulling on the eyes. Okay, and the next color that we have here is a nice neutral brown color, and this is called Tawny. And yes, indeed, this is a very nice neutral color. This is nice to use when you're creating like either a very soft definition or a like nice transition shade on your eye. Also a bit powdery, so we have to be very careful with the matte products, I think. And let's see if the third color that we have here, the color named Merlot, is also going to be powdery. It's a little bit powdery because I think the main ingredients again for this is talc. And as you can see here, the color is quite violet, so it's not brown. So it's like the color of wine. And the main reason why I'm saying that we have to be very careful with like powdery eyeshadows is because sometimes when you pick it up from the pan, it tends to create a lot of like product disturbance, and then also a lot of kick up. And because of that, we tend to pick up more of the product, especially when you see the product being disrupted, because we would think that it's going to be such a waste. And when that happens, we actually pick up more pigments and we would end up applying more of the color into the eye. And sometimes we love it and sometimes we don't. So that's why we just really have to be very careful with this. And the last color that we have here is a very dark neutral brown color. And this is called Cappuccino. Am I right? Yes, it's Cappuccino. So this is like, again, it's very dusty. So yeah, so this is a nice neutral brown color that you can use to accentuate your eyes. So these are all of the 4 matte colors swatched on my arm. Okay, so now let's try swatching the shimmer colors. And what we have here is this nice color that is named Starlight. Ooh. Okay, trying to angle myself so that you guys can see it. That's a very nice color. It's quite muted, and it's like a beigey gold color, and it kind of reminds me of how a metal object tarnishes a teeny tiny bit. So it still has a lot of shine and shimmer, but it's not as vibrant as I thought it was going to be. And the next color that we have here is, what's this name? Medallion, of course. So this is Medallion, and I believe this is going to be a very vibrant gold color. Amazing shade. This is my second swatch of the shimmer eyeshadows, and they are actually quite creamy to the touch. So that's actually amazing. And there's a lot of reflection coming out from the Medallion shade, and it actually reminds me of how how a foil, like a colorful foil looks like. This is amazing. Add drama to the eyes. The next color that we have here, this third shimmery color, is called Copper, if I am correct. Yes, it's Copper, and let's swatch it here. And this has a very nice red undertone. It's not as bronzy as I thought it was going to be. It's more rusty. Again, we still have that foily type of texture. Very pretty. This will look great on people who have like green eyes or like blue eyes. And then the last color that we have here is this nice violet shade called Scarlet. Okay, so it's not as vibrant as the rest. So let's watch it again and see if... Yeah, so it's more cool and it doesn't have as much shimmer as the other 3 shimmer eyeshadows have. So, but then again, that's a very pretty color. This will work well with people who have brown eyes. So these are the 4 shimmer eyeshadows swatched on my arm. All right, now it's time for us to try it on our eyes. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my NARS Pro Prime eyeshadow base. The reason why I'm doing this is because I have noticed that the matte eyeshadows are a bit powdery, so that has a tendency of falling down onto my skin. And you know, if that's the case, based on my initial observation, it's important that you have to do your eyeshadow treatment first before you apply any foundation or concealer, because I'm sure there will be a lot of product fallout and kick out. But let's just see how well these products actually like apply on the eyes. Okay, I didn't notice that there's a plastic covering here, so let's remove that. Now, I don't have any plans of what type of eyeshadow look I'm going to create, but let's just play it by ear and let's just, you know, see where it goes. So I'm gonna pick up this shade here, color Vellum, and I'm gonna apply this all over my eyelid, like as a all over eyeshadow base. And you know, we're just spreading it so that we have that initial application of color in the eyes, so that all of the powder products will glide on effortlessly. Okay, so the color of Vellum is actually not white, but it falls more into the grayish tone of the color scale. So at first I had an idea that maybe I can use this to emphasize my brow bone, but I am not gonna do that because this might just be too dulling and not brightening. But this is great though for like an initial application of color. Okay, so let's go and pick up some of this tawny color. As you can see, like it's quite powdery and it's quite dusty, so we just have to be very careful with this. And I'm just gonna apply it gently along my crease and my socket line, and let's see how well this actually blends together. So I'm noticing right now that this is quite a neutral brown, so it falls into the much more grayer side of the tonal scale. And I mean, it's okay because it's a nice transition color, but usually for me, I would actually prefer to have browns with a much more warmer tone. Okay, then I'm gonna get this deeper matte shade, the cappuccino, and I'm just going to enhance my crease and my socket line even further. And this is also a very neutral brown, so this is great for definition, but it's just too gray for me. Nice pigmentation though. Very easy to blend. Okay, so I just need to buff that out and to soften the edges. Okay, so this is quite neutral, so I would like to add some pop of colors. So I'm gonna pick up this gold here, and I'm just gonna use my fingers in pressing the product into my eyelid. So I'm using this gold color just to add some warmth into my skin, because sometimes when I use neutral brown colors, they don't really give life to my eyes. Okay, I would like to add some definition to my eyes, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna start first with this tawny color, and I'm using my very old Laura Mercier smudge brush, and I'm going to apply this color at my lower lash line first, and I'm just gonna blend that into my crease and my socket line so that I can just connect everything. Now I can actually see a lot of the product like fly in front of my eye, so this is a very powdery eyeshadow, so just be very wary and be very careful with that because of the powdery nature. For sure, a lot of those eyeshadow products, especially the matte ones, because I think they don't have like binders like any other eyeshadow products in the market, so they will actually tend to fall or land on your skin. So now with the same brush, I'm just gonna pick up the darkest and deepest shade here, the one called Cappuccino, and I'm gonna use this to define my upper lash line for depth. I can see some fallout already, so again, just be very careful with this. All right, let's see. Okay, that looks so much better now that I have some definition going on. And with the brown eyeshadows here, they're just a little bit too neutral for me, like for my personal taste. But this is like, you know, if you want a nice transition shade or a nice neutral eyeshadow, the browns in this palette are actually quite good. And to finish this eye off, I just want to add some of the shimmer here. So I'm gonna add this at the inner corner here because this eyeshadow treatment is looking to be quite muted. So this shimmer eyeshadow, Starlight, works well with this eye color combination. And let's add some of that here into the brow bone, just for some added drama. Okay, so the gold isn't actually looking as vibrant as I thought it was gonna look on my eye, because on my arm, it looked quite vibrant, but I would like to try applying this gold color with a damp brush, and I'm gonna lightly press it. It kind of works. So applying the gold pigment with a damp brush actually helps in making the shimmers come out more, and it kind of sticks into the skin so much better. And when you're building coverage like this on the eye, it's always best to use a tapping motion. All right, that's great. So now let's try the rest of the other colors here on this eye. So of course I have an eye base here, and okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna pick up this like Merlot color, and I'm just gonna sweep it gently on my eyelid and create a nice base color. Now, I do have to say though that the matte colors are very easy to blend, and they're also very easy to apply. And because I am using a brush with this, the colors appear much more diffused on your eyelids than when you use like your fingers to actually swatch it. So if you want to intensify your matte colors, you can use your fingers, or I think, I haven't tried it yet though, you have to use a much more denser brush for that. Okay, I'm just gonna go back with my Laura Mercier smudge brush, and I'm just going to line my upper lash line with this, and I'm going to wing that out a teeny tiny bit. Oops, I can see fallout already. I'm sure you saw that fall. So again, be very careful. And let's just blend that well into the crease and into my socket line. And let's blend everything. I'm liking this eyeshadow color. This works much more better, as you can see, because it has a much more warmer tone than the neutral browns here on my other eye. So it's actually making my eyes look more vibrant, and it's also making my eye color come out more. Okay, so let's just blend it and buff it. So we have a nice transition of color. And I like doing this because, you know, it kind of makes my natural skin color a highlight for my brow bone. Okay, I'm gonna go back and then I'm going to use this color to enhance my lower lash line. Okay, so this is annoying me, so let's remove it. Okay, so I'm actually liking this very wine colored eyeshadow look on my left eye, and it's looking quite great. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use this color, and I would like to try and use another brush for this. So let me look for a much more thicker brush. All right, so let's try to see. So let's press it lightly. And what I find so amazing is that, I don't know if you can see it here, but when I am pressing the brush into the shimmer eyeshadows, you don't get a lot of product kick-up. But with the matte colors, as soon as you press on the eyeshadow, they start to really disrupt on the pan. Anyway, so let's just press the color here with this brush. Okay, so it's making everything come together now, and it's looking quite well. Okay, so it's quite muted. So I'm just using my fingers here to see if it will apply more coverage of the color into my eyelid. And it kind of does to a certain degree. But this is a very beautiful color combination though, like this Merlot color here and this scarlet color here. Very pretty color. Okay, I'm going back to the scarlet color here, and I'm just going to lightly apply it on my lower lash line, just so that the colors will blend well together and it becomes more dramatic. Okay, this is a very nice eye treatment. I love this. Very pretty. But I still want to see if I can enhance the shimmer eyeshadows more. So I'm going to be dipping my brush very lightly into some water. Okay, so I'm able to collect and press in more of the shimmer and the pigment into the eyelid. And this is kind of pretty because it's making the eyeshadow treatment more vibrant. And it's just adding more brightness to the eye, which I like. Okay, this is good. Now, I don't know if Viseart actually made their eyeshadow products, especially the shimmer ones, to be like for wet or dry application, but I kind of like that at this time. It's making me able to apply it in with a damp brush, because it kind of reminds me of how I used to do makeup before, like back in the day, like more than a decade ago. I always did use a wet brush technique because the technology then was very different from the makeup technology that we have today. But this is very pretty though. Okay, I love this eyeshadow treatment. Okay, so let's see if I could enhance this eye look a teeny tiny bit. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this Merlot product and add a little bit of some warmth here. All right, that looks so much better. Okay, and to finish this eye off, I'm going to pick up some of this color here and just gently press it here in the middle for some drama. So we're successfully using all of the colors in the pan, and I'm gonna go back and pick up some of this and dip it here a teeny tiny bit, and I'm just gonna apply it here at the inner corner to brighten that up. Okay, no brainer. All right, so this is how Petit Pro 1 looks on my eyes. I enjoyed getting to know Petit Pro 1 from Viseart, and I'm looking forward to actually playing with it some more, just so I know how well they will work with me and if certain brushes work well with their eyeshadow products. Now, if you have any more questions about the products that I used today, please leave them down at the comments box below and let's have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.